everyone. We are celebrating the 2021 virtual Walk for Wishes, and we can't wait to say thank you to everybody who is out there united behind making wishes come true for kids here in Maine by walking wherever they are, whenever they want, but all supporting our mission here at Make-A-Wish Maine. We have an awesome treat in store for you today. I am here joined by Wish Kid Luke, who has been kind enough to work with us to create a playlist to help you get jazzed up and motivated and keep you moving while you're walking today. So we're going to chat a little bit with Luke and find out about his wish and talk a little bit about the playlist and get everybody ready to go. So hi, Luke. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. It's great. We've chatted a little bit via email, but I haven't got to meet face to face sort of in this virtual world that we're in now, but
Yes,
it's great to see you.
virtually at least.
Yes, absolutely. Well, listen, can you share with us a little bit of your background just to tell folks how you came about to learning about Make-A-Wish and that it might be something that you're eligible for?
Yeah, of course. So back in October, I was diagnosed with B lymphoblastic lymphoma. Definitely changed my life. Not exactly for the better, but many great things have come out of it, like I'm about to tell with you guys. So during my treatments, there was a social worker that worked at the clinic that I was going to get my chemotherapy, and mentioned that I'm eligible to work with Make-A-Wish and have a wish. That was something that made me really happy, and just gave me a lot of excitement during this time that isn't necessarily the best time in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially as a teenager, 16, right? So
Yeah,
going through as a teenager is really difficult. And you were diagnosed in the middle of the pandemic, is that correct? So
yeah,
yeah, extra
yeah.
extra
You know,
difficult to go
it's definitely a story to tell.
through. For sure. For sure. And so music has always been a passion of yours, is that right?
Absolutely. I started out playing the guitar and piano when I was very young. Then I moved on to the saxophone, which is something I still play to this day at high school, as well as just for fun on my own, as well as the piano and guitar. But I'd say the saxophone's my main instrument. So music was definitely something that was at the top of my list when it came to something for a wish.
Yeah, and so talk a little bit about the other things that you were thinking about. What was the thought process when you realized that you could receive a wish and um, got to start dreaming a little bit about what that might be? What were some of the things that you thought about?
Well, my first idea was, especially during this pandemic, like we mentioned, it's definitely not easy for anyone in the pandemic, let alone going through chemotherapy.
Yeah,
So I wanted to have something that I could do now and that would be lasting, not necessarily a one-time thing, something I could work on now and years in the future as well. So that was definitely something I wanted to do, something that could, take up some time now that otherwise may just be spent me sitting around being a bit a bit bored and not feeling great. But this has been a great way to help with that.
that's great. Good. So let's share with everybody where you landed and what your wish was.
Yeah, so my wish was to have a music production studio in my house, um, behind me, as you can see. Um, yeah, so we have a finished basement, so this was the perfect place to have it. It's been great. I've had it for about, I think, 2 months now,
Hmm?
and it's been so nice, just being able to do what I love. Um, just in such a nice space.
Yeah,
It's really been great.
great. We talk a little bit about how your wish day unfolded and were you surprised and what was all included in your wish day?
Yeah, so my wish day came out of nowhere. I got an email. I don't know if it was from you or someone else, just saying you wanted to go over the list, and just it seemed like you guys had some questions. And at first, I was like, "Oh no, has something changed?" I was a bit worried, but as it turns out, it was my wish day, and I was able to talk with a local artist by the name of Spose, which is a great surprise. He kind of unveiled everything. He said, "Well, I think you should go upstairs and look at your driveway." Here everything was. It was a great surprise, and I'm an only child. And normally, I for like the holidays or my birthday, I kind of find out before what I'm getting for presents. So my parents did a great job keeping this a secret.
Good, that's good. We do love surprises at Make-A-Wish, and we often have to rope in other people to helping us keep the secret. So props to your parents for playing along.
Absolutely.
That's great. And what kind of advice did Spose give you? So he's a local artist that's been around for a long time and certainly made it big with a hit single back when he first started. Did he have words of advice for you as you sort of continue your career in music?
Yeah, he just gave me some really nice praise about, my music. He left me his email with any questions at any time I had. He'd be happy to help. And it was just a great experience being able to talk to him for a little bit on my wish day.
That's great. That's great. All right, so let's see what you got there. Can you give us a little tour of the equipment behind
Yeah.
you and what makes up the studio?
So I'll kind of start from the right going to the left.
Perfect.
So that's a speaker. That's where all the noise comes from. That's where all the noise is made, or at least is projected from. I have two of them. They're quite big. In fact, when I got them, I was very surprised with not too loud, but there's definitely plenty of volume coming from them when I need it to be. And then behind here, you can't really see it. There's an audio interface. So this is where the microphone that's here is plugged into, and it will record everything, as well as it's plugged into my laptop and outputs all the audio from the speakers. So it kind of glues everything together and brings multiple pieces together. And then moving on, I have this really nice Korg synth. So it's, I can basically do anything with it in terms of a synthesizer, make plenty of sounds, just kind of mess around with some of these buttons and create unique sounds that someone else could, but it's very unique. And you never know. It's not like you're taking something from a laptop that's already been made. It really has, it's more of like an instrument than an actual software or something. And then I have my laptop, which is hooked up to this really nice monitor, which makes everything nice and big. So if I need to have like two screens or two softwares going on at the same time, I can be working on one thing. And if I need to drag files into the project of the music I'm working on, I can do that really easily. So that's been very helpful. And then moving on to over here, I already mentioned the microphone. Then there's the second speaker, but this is an Ableton Push. It kind of helps make everything a lot easier in terms of whether it's recording stuff, laying tracks down, or adjusting just very fine details within the music. And so that's been a great help. And that was also came with some software that I've been using that's been very helpful and a great way to make music. And then over here, you can kind of see it's just a nice keyboard to help me record some piano or synths from my computer, really anything. And like I said, I started playing the piano when I was really young. So those skills have definitely came in handy.
And so you've been creating your own music for how long?
I've been creating my own music for about 4 or 5 years. I started out very simple, like GarageBand, and just kind of messing around. And I realized I really enjoyed it. And it just kind of progressed into what I'm doing now. And like I said, I started playing the saxophone. And that's something that kind of carried over and that you can hear in the music I make these days.
Great. And I've had the privilege of listening to some of your music, and it's great. Our whole team here is super impressed with your talent. And what you're really doing there is you're creating all those different sounds that you talked about and sort of layering them on top of each other for your original tracks. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So everything in there is just something I've made. People talk about sampling things, and when it comes to sampling, that can be as detailed as like just one sound of a drum, and then you do everything else, or you can take a whole song that someone else already made. But everything I do is, it's that very small detail that really makes it unique. And you probably, no one else has made my music. No one else makes other people's music.
Right.
If that
Totally
makes
original.
sense.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then let's talk just real quickly about one of the other parts of your wish. We were able to get you connected with Sing, the studio down in Atlanta. Can you
Yes.
share with folks anything you know about Sing?
Yeah, so it's that was a great surprise, and we've been in contact with the people down there, and they've produced for some amazing artists, that have won Grammys. So they're responsible for making that record Grammy quality. So I'm really excited to send them a few tracks and get it mastered.
That's great. Yeah. And they have a connection to Maine as well, which is was always fun. So
Yes.
yes, good. All right. So, in your process, when you're creating your music, is there anything in particular that inspires you, or what kind of music do you like to listen to kind of help get you inspired for creating?
Yeah, so lately I've been making all kinds of music. When it comes to putting my own music out, releasing it on Spotify and iTunes and everything, I try and stick to a similar sound where I could be like, oh, that's something, or someone else could be like, oh, that's something I made. Um, but I listen to all types of different music. I really like jazz. I like electronic music. I like pop. I'll listen to anything. And I think that kind of helps blend my music together to what makes it unique, because it's taking all that inspiration from so many different places and putting it together.
That's great, and it appeals to all kinds of audiences, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we tasked you with coming up with a playlist to help support all the folks out there who are walking in our virtual Walk for Wishes. Can you talk a little bit about how you took that task on and decided how, what songs you wanted to include and what kind of a mood you were trying to create for all those folks out there walking?
Absolutely. So, my first goal is hopefully you guys don't fall asleep when you're listening to this
I've
playlist.
had a preview and I promise you that will not happen. It's
Yeah.
really
So,
very exciting.
yeah, so I just wanted to make something that everyone can groove to and get a move on and walk to something that hopefully you everyone enjoys. I've tried to make it all music I enjoy, as well as included some of my own tracks, but keep it very uplifting, exciting, and I ordered it in a specific way. Um, so if you want to listen to it from beginning to end, that works. Or if you want to put it on shuffle, that should work as well.
So let's talk a little bit about the way that you ordered it specifically. What was your thought process behind that?
Yeah. So actually, back in the fall, I wasn't able to play soccer. So I made the warm up playlist for my soccer team,
Mhm.
so that I kind of had some background experience with that. So I just kind of wanted to start out something that would make you feel like you want to listen to, whether you're just coming out onto a field or you're starting a walk. That was kind of my thought process. Just start out really exciting, very uplifting, um, just something that you enjoy, makes you think I really want to enjoy this time of walking, and yeah, let's do this.
Yes. Well, I think you nailed it. And you've got all kinds of musicians on there. You've got everyone from Dua Lipa to Avicii to U2 and a whole bunch of other, I think, artists that people will recognize, as well as some other maybe lesser known artists. Is that how do you like to sort of find newer music and listen to that as well?
Yeah, so I like I said, I listen to lots of music, lots of different types of music, and I always enjoy finding smaller artists that maybe you're not hearing on the radio, or you aren't getting millions of streams. Um, but it doesn't mean they're necessarily making worse music. It absolutely doesn't mean that. Sometimes it's even better. Um, so I just kind of, when making the playlist, I thought, just what's music that I'd really like people to listen to and I think would fit well for this occasion.
Yeah. And I think the most exciting part for everybody is that mixed in there are a few of your own songs as well. So let's talk about a couple of those. One in particular that I really liked was called East Side. Can you share a little bit about, just the inspiration for you behind that song?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start out with kind of the title. So one of my favorite places to go in the world is New York City. And many people know the East Side's a very prominent place in Manhattan. And so I just kind of thought about times I've been there and just kind of that vision or memory I had, and just kind of make a chill track, but also fits my style. Something that, just reminds me of if I were in the East Side of New York City.
Yeah. And so do you have a favorite of the other songs that are on the playlist that are your songs?
Well, I don't want to be biased. I'd say they're all my all my favorite.
It's good. That's a good answer.
Thank you.
So you create under the artist name Sparwell,
Yeah.
correct? And so we want to make sure that everybody knows that. So when they access the playlist, that the songs that are on there by Sparwell are your original songs. And you have also music available for people. So if people want to access your music, where can they find you?
So basically, any platform you're on, whether that's Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it, it'll be there.
Great. And then for when they access the playlist for the walk, we're going to share that out, I know, throughout the day. But can you talk a little bit about how they would access that if they went to Spotify, to your artist page on Spotify?
Yeah, so if you're on your phone, which I imagine most people will be, you just go to the search menu, look up Sparwell, Sparwell. My artist page should show right up. Just scroll down a little bit, and it will show the Walk for Wishes playlist, and you're set.
Awesome. All right, Luke, can you, when you think back now, so it's been about 2 months. I think your wish was early March, right? So
Yeah.
it's been a while. When you think back about the whole process, what would you want people who are out there walking today to support, the ability for us to keep granting wishes to kids like you? What would you want them to know about Make-A-Wish and what it's done for you, even prior to receiving your wish, but throughout the whole journey that you've been on?
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone that's having a wish granted or thinking about, what they want for their wish, it just brings a lot of excitement and joy into their lives in a time that's not necessarily great. It's not easy for anyone, whether it's them or their family. And this is just a great way to help support someone that may not, be in the best situation, but it'll bring a lot of happiness into their life.
Absolutely. That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for creating this awesome playlist and inspiring all of our walkers. I know I'm inspired. I'm ready to queue it up and get out there and start walking. And, we just can't thank you enough for continuing to spread the message about your wish, share your story. And we can't wait to see where your talent takes you, and look forward to continuing to listen to your creative music on your Spotify page and other platforms wherever we can find your music. And we have lots of faith that there are big things ahead for you, Luke. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.